My name is Paul from Panasonic Canada, taking care of Panasonic Canada as well as Panasonic US and our reps. Thank you, Fallon, and thank you, Wallace and Anas, for having this session, training session. Thank you all for participating. I know it's difficult, but you have spent some time and kept it aside for us. I'll try my best to give you as much information as I have, and when you leave, at least you have some extra knowledge with what you have at the moment. We will have two segments today, this morning. The first will be the single zone, followed by the multi zone, and then after the multi zones, we will have questions and answers. Okay, so please, as we go as we go along, write down any questions you may have. I'll try my best to answer. If I cannot, I will get back to you another day, for sure. Okay, so when we talk about single zone, we have 9,000, 12,000, 15,000, 18, and 24. The WKUA. This WKUA is our latest model that were released last year. It has our Nano X technology built in. We'll talk later about multi-zones. We do have 2, 3, 4, and 5. And our Indo unit starts from 5,000 all the way to 24,000. Then we have the Builder series and the E series that go along with single zone as well as multi-zone. That too, we will talk about it. All our units that we sell, starting from the Nano X all the way to the E series, Pro series. The Nano X has that technology that takes care of the virus, takes care of the inhibitants and allergens and all that kind of thing, pollen, allergies and all that. We'll talk about it. It has a built-in Wi-Fi, so that's a good point there. Most of our competitors don't have that. We do have a built-in Wi-Fi, so that's a plus point for homeowners. You can use wireless that comes with the unit, or if your customer is asking for a wide, you can offer them wide as well. That is optional. With the E series, okay, with the E series, I'm talking about ERKUA. This is the E series. This model, this model they have a built-in EcoNavi sensor. What does that do? I will explain to you in a few slides ahead. It does not have a built-in Wi-Fi, but if you need Wi-Fi, you can buy an optional intersys, optional Wi-Fi, and hook it up, and you're all good to go. We have on all our models very easy error code retrieval. So easy that when you get a phone call from your customer, you can ask them to pull that error. So that way you can start your day knowing what to do and how to attack this error code. Then on the WKUAs and the SKUAs models and our ducted series, we do have something called the auxiliary heater function, whereby we give you 12 volts DC, and that 12 volts DC you can bring on your baseboard heater, your heating hot water coil, or any secondary heat if you need when your heat pump cannot keep up. So we'll talk about the WKUAs being our very new model out in the market. It's been out since May last year, maybe April. It has this function that everybody is talking about, the Nano X.
Presentation went down.
Oh boy.
Okay, it's back up. Just get to your slide. Yep, there you go. Perfect.
Okay, we were talking about. Sorry about that. We were talking about the Nano X, and what this Nano X does is a technology. Okay, it's a technology that Panasonic used to use it on our older air purifiers. Now they brought it into our heat pumps and also in some cars. Anyway, it's a technology that collects invisible moisture in the air, applies high voltage to produce hydroxyl radicals. Okay, it's a bit confusing for a technician to understand this, but once they go through this info, it makes a lot of sense. So what happens is
Does this
when
minimize
you
the buildup on the blower wheel?
what's that?
Please keep yourself muted during the presentation. Thank you.
I'm sorry about that. Okay, so it's characterized by being very strong, oxidative, high reactive, hence short lifespan. So basically, what the fan does when it's turned on nano X mode, it throws millions and millions of molecules that goes and attacks all these allergens, whether it's on the floor, whether it's on the sofa, and takes away the hydrogen of it and kills the bacteria. The beauty about this new model, unlike the older ones, the top part, the intake, was too broad, was slightly more, and it looked a little bit, I would say not that ugly, but a little bit off mood. Now they made it a little bit slimmer with the same energy efficiency. Okay. So we have the horizontal and the vertical vanes, or some people call it flaps. It blows up and down based on your settings. Okay. So all our units, regardless, single zone, multi-zones, all our units, the compressors are inverter driven. So what is inverter driven? In a very simple language, or in a very simple term, it modulates based on the load. It goes up and down all the way from 28 hertz frequency all the way to 90, 98, 100, and comes down. Okay, depending on the load. In this case, I put a very simple slide. There is no much load, only 2 people there. So the compressor is hardly running. Okay, and then when it sees heavy load based on the sensors, it tells the compressor to ramp up. That's pretty much how this inverter technology operates. So when you find out that your compressor is not ramping up or ramping down, the first thing you should focus is the sensors. And if your sensors are in good shape, then chances are you are low on refrigerant. Okay, so sensors talk to refrigerant, refrigerant talks to sensors, and then sensors talks to the compressor. So basically, at the outer unit, you will see just one board. Okay, you will just see one control board, and it's a board that involves AC/DC rectifier, IPM, intelligent power module, and your compressor. So what it does basically, this AC/DC and the power transistor, all it does, it receives AC voltage, converts it to DC 3-phase, and then again to AC voltage into 1, 2, and 3, UVW, 3-phase. Okay, that's where your compressor gets the voltage, and that's where the compressor is being regulated. So when the compressor is running at a lower frequency, I can rest assure you that the voltage is at a lower, probably at around 50, 60 volts between UV, VW, WU, or WV. Mind you, these three lines here is as good as a 3-phase voltage. Okay, it's a 3-phase voltage supply, AC, not DC, guys, and it keeps going up and down depending on the frequency. So when there is high load, this compressor is going to ramp up like crazy, and that's where you'll get probably around 120 all the way to 200 volts AC. And when the compressor is slowing down, it can slow down all the way to 48, 38, 28, and eventually shut off. Okay, that's a very typical compressor, suction and discharge, strokes 120 to 240 degrees up to 360. So it sucks, it closes, it discharges. So in that big board, as I showed you, it has the AC, DC, and then the IPM. That's where your IPM is. It collects all the information. And when there is a problem, either with the outdoor PCB or the compressor, F error code will be given out. So how it will be given out? The timer light will be flashing inside, and as soon as the timer light flashes, the system is going to shut down. And when it shut down, it's not going to come back. If it is a minor issue.
Paolo, presentation went down. Are you able to get it back up, Paolo?
Hold on, I'm trying.
Thank you, everyone. Please hang tight. It will be back up within a minute.
You can see it?
No, I do not see it yet. Again, please keep yourself muted. The presentation is still going on. Okay, I see your screen.
Now?
I see your screen. I just don't see the presentation. Oh, I don't see your screen anymore.
Okay. For some reason, I can't get my. Okay. We should be good now.
Okay, yep. I see your presentation now. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Sorry, guys. It keeps dropping off. I don't know. We have a storm here, so I don't know if the storm is contributing. Snowstorm. Anyway, so I was talking to you about this power board that has the entire one-piece control board at the outdoor unit. So one is the control side, and the other one is the rectifier, AC/DC, and this is your intelligent power module. This is where you'll get all the error codes, F99, F90, F96, depending on the situation. So it could be the outdoor board, or it could be the compressor. So if you are not doing heat pumps on a daily basis, it is important to invest in a phase checker, inverter phase checker. It won't take more than 3 to 5 minutes to find out if it's the problem with the compressor or the problem is with the outdoor board. Unless you are doing heat pumps on a regular basis, it's very easy. And I will explain to you why it's very easy. Because when the outdoor unit compressor is defective, the fan will come on. Okay. So the inverter technology. Everybody talks about inverter technology today, and the beauty about that is it doesn't start and stop like the old conventional unit and run like crazy at 60 hertz. This one will start smoothly and move on. And at the same time, while it's moving on, it tries to maintain your comfort level with very, very minimum power consumption. Now, earlier on our slides, we talked about the E series, okay? Not the Nano X, not the Nano technology. The Nano X technology does not have this EcoNavi sensor. The E series that can be installed as a single zone as well as a multi-zone. This model has something called an EcoNavi sensor. What is this EcoNavi sensor? It's something that when you use that mode, okay? When you use that mode, it will try its best to see where the point of focus, point of activity is. Depending on that, it will make its move. And if the point of activity is not much, it will definitely slow down. And when it slows down, that's where your energy is getting saved. Your energy is getting saved. Okay, the compressor is going to slow down, and once it slows down, obviously you're saving some energy. Why? Because your point of focus, or the guy who was there moving around on his treadmill or at his office desk, is in this section. So why cool this area? You don't need to. And the beauty about this, it can go up to 2 meters, which is times 3, 6 feet, facing this way, and a 7 meter, which is about 21 feet wide. So straight and wide, 7 times 2, which is almost what? 7 times 3 is about 21 feet, and this is around 6 feet. So it takes quite a good angle of how you can save it. But it will not, the function will not happen if you do not pick that function. So on your remote controller, go on your remote controller and pick EcoNavi function. Inside the unit, on the left-hand side, there is a controller there with a lens and everything. So the beauty about this lens, it picks up on your body temperature. It has a lens called a Fresnel lens. It picks up on your body temperature, your heat and all that. That's based on your movement. And when you start moving around on one corner, that's where the swing flap will blow and just blow in that area. And if you don't want it to do that, you can always go back and use it as a regular mode instead of your EcoNavi function mode. Okay? How this EcoNavi function works? It is based on 2-degree differential. 2 degrees differential. When there is no any movement, when there is no movement, and the sensor sees there is no movement, it's going to drop 2 degrees lower in heating or 2 degrees higher in cooling, depending on which mode you are. And once it sees movement, it comes up again. It's a good function. It's a very good function for many guys here in Canada and in the US. They use this function when they go back to bed in the night. When they go to bed, they leave it at this function so that when they wake up in the morning, the heat pump doesn't have to fight too much to come back up to the temperature that the homeowner has set it at. So that's a good feature as well. Auto mode is not my cup of tea, but we do have that mode. So basically what happens is you can put it in auto mode. So it will start heating depending on the room temperature, or cooling depending on the room temperature. And then it will go back and forth. Everybody knows about it. I prefer using this mode during shoulder season, spring and fall, but not in the heart of winter like today, or in a few weeks to come or months to come. I would strictly use heating, and when it comes to summer, I will strictly use cooling. But the function is there. You can use it. You can go crazy, no problem. And if you read your user manual, it explains to you all this, how this function works. Just to make sure, and just to remind you that when you're using heat mode, okay, guys, when you're using heat mode, your fan speed and your louver function operates based on the temperature of the coil. Once the coil gets nice and toasty, above 40 degrees Celsius, which is around 110, around 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, then you have the option to change the setting. Like if you want to take it upper or lower, but that is only in heat mode, guys. In cool mode, you can do whatever you want to do, no problem. And that is because it's trying to avoid cold draft falling on someone's neck or someone's head and causing that person to be uncomfortable. So this is our compressor. We make our own compressors, and we also sell to other manufacturers. So don't be surprised if you open up another unit, another brand, and you find a Panasonic compressor or a Panasonic fan motor. That's because we are almost number one, if not number two in the world. We are leading our compressor manufacturer manufacturing as well as our fan motors. I remember when I was with other competitors, I used to see fan motors, I used to see compressors, and I was surprised. But now I know that we have our own factory for compressors, we have our own engineers, and we are quite proud about it.
Paolo, are you there? You went out. Paolo?
701 needs customer service.
Paolo, we cannot hear you. Paolo? I would try hanging up and calling back in. We could not hear you. Paolo?
Oh, I thought there was like a general thing.
Paolo? Paolo, we cannot hear you. Paolo?
Hello?
Paolo, we could not hear you. Paolo? Paolo, Paolo, there is no noise. Paolo, Paolo, there is no noise. We cannot hear you.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Please make the note in the Salesforce file, and whenever the presentation we complete, that it says that's okay. Let Mike map now. Thank you. Okay. Yes.
Any questions?
Yeah. And most likely I'm gonna have you make the decision.
Oh, thanks.
I saw you coming in with don't fist in it there.
Yes, honey.
Hello?
Paolo?
Yes, you hear me?
Paolo, we cannot hear you. Your screen went down and you have been muted for the past 10 minutes. Paolo, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Thank you.
We can hear you.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. Okay. Where'd Paolo go? Paolo, are you there?
Sorry, I something went wrong. I got disconnected.
Yes, I had to dismiss you. You were muted for the past 10 minutes and you couldn't hear me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, your phone went out. All your sound went out, so I had to miss your phone so you could call back in.
So do we know where we stopped? Where nobody could hear me?
Put your presentation back up and I could tell you.
My presentation is up.
No, it's not.
You
We don't
see?
see. No, we don't see your presentation.
Thank you.
All right.
How about now?
Okay. Go back. You were about a slide or two back.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for the chat box. I do apologize about that.
Where do you
Go-
know? Did I reach here?
Yes, this is where everything went blank. We could.
Okay.
We missed
So
this
what-
whole. We
so
missed
what I
this
was-
whole slide.
Okay. So what I was talking to you about was the 10 minutes That's the minutes that you can only you can wait if you are doing troubleshooting, guys. All the guys who are doing troubleshooting, our compressor will take a maximum of 10 minutes to reach its maximum frequency, maximum speed. So when you start the unit, it takes about 3 minutes, slow start, 3 minutes. And after 3 minutes, it will start ramping up. So please don't conclude that the compressor is not ramping up in those first 3 minutes. Give it some time. The compressor is going to ramp up. Look at your running amp. It will probably start at 1, 2, 3, 4, and it will keep going higher and higher. In those 10 minutes, you will be able to see if you have a problem with your refrigerant, if you have a problem with the indoor head, outdoor unit, piping, or you name it. Okay? So after 10 minutes, you can make your judgment. If your pressures are low, if your running amps are low, or if you
About that, everyone. Please stay muted again, please.
okay. So in those 10 minutes, you can check many things. Okay, you can check many things like running amps, gas pressure, and all that kind of thing. Many guys will call me and tell me, Paul, my indoor fan is not ramping up. I think the problem is the indoor fan. No, it could be the sensor, or it could be the refrigerant. Remember, I told you earlier that the fan speed of the indoor section and the louvers operate based on the temperature of the coil. The coil has to reach at least 100 degrees Fahrenheit to 110 degrees Fahrenheit so that you can have your own option of running the fan high or low or medium, whatever, or auto. So refrigerant is the main thing. It's the main juice for the unit to function well. Okay? So always remember, if your indoor section is not performing well, does not mean that your indoor section has a problem. Okay? So again, the compressor will start smooth start for 3 minutes. It will keep ramping up for another 7 minutes. After 10 minutes, you have a clear picture of what's going on with this unit. You will be able to tell based on your experience. You will be able to tell if the unit is low on gas, there is some blockage, high on gas, whatever. Then I was talking to you about wired remote controller. Okay, we have this option in most office here. They prefer wired remote controllers as compared to wireless. So guys, if you have a call and they're asking for wired remote controller, we have 3 types of wired remote controller. Please don't mix them up. We have one for ducted models, one for cassette models, and one for wall mounted. So please keep that in mind, okay? And if you have any doubts, give us a call. We'll give you the correct model number. Because guys go to job sites with the wrong remote controller, and now they have to make another trip. Some guys have got to go like 1 hour drive, 2 hours drive. It's not worth. So please, if you want to call us ahead of the game. In the box of this wired remote controller, there is a wire supplied of 32 feet. 32 feet, plug in on either side, and you're up and running. And just like the wireless remote controller, the wired has got a weekly timer and other basic functions, error code and everything. Let's talk a little bit about the installation that we want you to do and things that we don't want you to do. Okay? Obviously, somebody is going to do some load calculation. Okay? I know guys nowadays, they just walk into a house, they look around, they come up with a solution. Oh, 12,000 BTU is fine. 18,000 BTU is fine. No, it's important to do load calculation. Once you do your load calculation, you pick up a capacity, you pick up a model, you pick up a location, and now you start to do your job. Installation plate is very important, guys. The screws and the fishers that comes in the box are no good. I always tell my guys, use screws and fishers and plugs from Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. Okay, use them and make sure the back plate is nice and flat, because this backplate, if it's not flat, it's going to cause trouble to the blower wheel. And in less than 6 to 9 months, your blower wheel motor is gone. The blower wheel will start wobbling, and you may think that you bought a poor quality air conditioning system, a split system, because you're now hardly 9 months into operation and your motor is gone. But this backplate is very, very crucial, very, very critical. Make sure you install it well and nice and flat. Sometimes the walls are not flat. So make sure you have a nice flat wall and mount this backplate with enough of screws, enough of fishers, okay? Then the outdoor unit location. Outdoor unit location is very important. Sometimes the guys, they put it in a location where rain falls onto the unit. And then after rain, snow, and you name it. So that's not a good location. It's going to freeze your outdoor unit easily. And then your outdoor unit will be fighting between a frozen coil and de-icing. De-icing is taking place or defrost is taking place, but there's so much of ice built up due to the location that you install the outdoor unit. So keep that in mind as well. Then you have the power supply, the hole. Always remember, when you're making a hole, drill it at a slant. I know when you're making holes for your furnaces or water heaters, you go the other way, up, because it's condensing. So with your split unit, you got to give it a slope for your drain, for your condensate drain. Don't go straight out. Always give it a slant. Give it some gradient, okay, guys? Piping connection. Make sure you do a good flare. Check for leaks. Pressurize the system. Don't over pressurize. I always tell guys, don't put too much. 400 psi is more than enough. Because what happens if you put too much? It goes and pushes the O-rings and the valves, and then you have a leak. And then when you are done with your vacuuming, you have low refrigerant. And then guys, they'll call me and they say, the factory sends me a unit with less refrigerant. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So please, don't push too much refrigerant through, nitrogen through. Vacuuming, try your best to get below 500. And wait, and keep it on hold to see if it's rising. It should rise, but not too much. Always keep room at the top. Guys will squeeze as much as they can. And remember, there is a sensor here, room temperature sensor. So what happens when the air is trapped there? The unit goes to sleep and the guy is feeling cold. Why? Because there's too much of heat here got trapped. And that's where your sensor is. So the more the better. 4 inches and above is always a good option. I mean, don't bring it too low. But if you have room to give more space, it's better. As I mentioned to you about the backplate, please guys, put enough of screws, put enough of plugs, okay? Here it shows only 1, 2, 3, 4. No, this is just a sample slide. Give it enough, 10, 12, keep it nice and flat. That way you take care of your indoor unit blower wheel and blower motor. Here it's showing nails. I don't think anyone is using that, but it's always a good reminder not to cut corners, guys. Then outdoor unit. If you're keeping the outdoor unit on a plank like that, a rubber plank, whatever, give it enough of room. In the middle, there should always be room here in the middle for defrosting. You don't want ice to build up and go back into the unit and damage the fan blade. You guys know what I'm talking about. So when people install units, sometimes they forget about this slant. And then come summertime, all water is coming in. Don't forget to block this hole, because when cold air comes in during winter time, the unit will be working like crazy without stopping. These are simple things, in installation. They say 99.9% problems are caused by the installers. So I'm not blaming you guys. I'm not blaming anyone. But always take extra time. Talk to the homeowner while the unit is in test. Talk to the homeowner about how to use it. If the homeowner gets to know what to use and what not to use, they are not going to call you. But if you get callbacks, that's because the homeowner has no time to read that user manual, as well as we as installers did not have time to talk to them while the unit was getting ready and getting tested. So always it's important that you talk with the homeowner, give them some tips, how to use it, how to avoid using it, not to run it like crazy, unnecessary. Show them how to save some energy. Obviously, when you're cutting pipes and all that, you know what you're doing here. You can't be using that way. You got to keep it the other way. Get all the dirt out, all the burrs out. Flush it. If possible, blow nitrogen through. Get rid of all the crap inside. Don't use pipes that are open. It's important to seal them, even if you use few meters, few feet. Always keep them sealed. These are minor stuff, regular stuff that we do. We do mistakes sometimes. We bypass it sometimes, and then it costs us out dearly, big time. Join, okay? You will notice I'm pushing some slides because they're not that important for you guys, and some slides I stop and explain. Is because I get these calls every day. Remember, I'm a field guy. I go to the job site almost every week, at least once or twice. Now with this COVID thingy, we are grounded. But in the past, I used to move around a lot, and I see these kind of problems. Never join wires. Never. Some guy will tell me, Paul, you told me not to join. I joined. The unit is running fine. But guess what? After a couple of weeks, they'll be called back with H11 code, a communication error. So please avoid these joints, guys. Or use a new wire. If you have to go back to the store, go and get it. Never join wires, regardless of power or control. Control wiring is worse. So you have your 1, 2, 3, and ground. Okay. So this is a communication wire. 1 and 2 is your supply. Number 3 is your communication. We'll talk about it later on. So remember, in cooling, 130, 125 is the best pressure. 125, 130, 150, you're good. And in heating, from 333 up to 425, no issues. But anything below that, you have a problem. And this is your outlet air temperature out of your indoor unit. In cooling, it should be around 50, 53, up to 60. In heating, anywhere from 96 to 115. And if you're getting more than 115, let's say 120, that means your fan is not blowing hard. There is a problem. Maybe the sensor. Okay? So please keep these details always in your mind, back of your mind. Remember our website, PanasonicHVAC.com. There is no need of password. Go there, browse, go crazy. Always, when you're doing your testing, when you're doing your repair, service call, always remember to check what's your return and your supply. Okay? 14 degrees Fahrenheit in 15 minutes time of operation, it's good. We are expecting 15 minutes, the fan to be running at a normal speed. That's why we want you to wait for at least for 15 minutes. Also, for the compressor to be running at a very good frequency. then this is your control board access of your indoor unit. Anytime you have a problem, first open up this section, this window. Let's do some testing. You know, after we do some testing, then we can find out what the issue is. You know, then if you have a problem with the blower wheel, remember on the right hand side when you're facing the unit, there is a screw there. Open up that, slide the blower wheel and lift the coil very gently, and the blower wheel is out. Okay, it's not that easy to remove this blower wheel because you got to be super gentle. If you are an easygoing guy, it's very easy for you because you are super patient, because it needs a lot of patience. Okay, you can't be on a phone call talking to a frustrated customer while opening this blower wheel. You might get mad and start moving things without any reason. So please guys, be gentle and things will be so easy. The blower wheel is so easy to open up. Open up the motor bracket, open up the screw, and the blower wheel slides out. There your motor goes in, a bunch of screws there. There are about two at the side and 2 inside. So 4 screws, and the blower wheel is out. Remove the plug of the PCB and replace it. We talked about vacuuming earlier. So everybody must use vacuum pump, guys. I know there are some guys, they just flush the refrigerant inside the unit and they close the valve and they're up and running. That's not fair. You are losing some ounces there, maybe a pound sometimes, and then you leave. The unit is low on gas. Then who you blame? So please, guys, use your vacuum pump. Make sure you get 500 microns and below, and then release your gas, and you're up and running. Excuse me. I mentioned to you that we have very easy, like super easy error retrieving codes. Excuse me. It's very easy to check our error code. Even the homeowner can do that for you. Get you the error code, and at least you can start somewhere if you're not at the job site. But if you're at the job site, it's also easy if you have the service manual or the app. We have the app called Panasonic Air Conditioner Quick Service Guide. If you go on the store, Google Store, Apple Store, just type Panasonic Air Conditioner Quick Service Guide. Download it. It has everything in there. I use it all the time when I get a call from contractors. So how do we do this? So you will see the timer light flashing. Okay, guys, not the power light. When the power light flashes, that means the unit is in defrost cycle. So there is a difference between power and timer. Okay, when the power light flashes, the unit is in defrost. When the timer light flashes, the unit has a problem. So please remember to tell this to the homeowner. When you have a problem, only call me when there is timer light flashing. When the power light is flashing, don't call me. The unit is in defrost. Okay, guys? And our defrost cycle is anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes, depending on the ambient temperature. The colder it gets outside, the longer the defrost cycle. And a maximum of 10 minutes is our defrost cycle. And our defrost cycle happens only once in 50 minutes. So you will not get 2 defrost cycles in an hour. No way. The program in the system has been already programmed for 1 defrost cycle per hour or 50 minutes. So when the timer light blinks, guys, this is how you do. Take your remote controller, locate the check button. There is a check button here at the bottom here. Take a toothpick. It shows a pencil here. It shows a finger, but there's no way you can use your finger. So use a toothpick or a pin, press and hold for 5 seconds. 5 seconds, and you will see this on your remote controller. While you're doing this, make sure you're facing the indoor unit, guys. Please don't forget that. You will see two dashes. With the timer up and down, either or, start scrolling. When you scroll, you keep going and going and going and going until the indoor unit beeps. When the indoor unit beeps, stop. Stop and look at the remote controller. You will see exactly what the error code is. If you're not sure that maybe you skipped it, you can go back and forth. You can go through all the error codes and come back again. The beauty about our unit and all our units, they store only one error code, the latest error code. That's the beauty. So please don't go to job sites for service maintenance or monthly or yearly maintenance and start pulling error codes even though the unit is running. You may end up pulling an error code that was stored before and got rectified and was not erased. So only pull error codes when the timer light is flashing, guys. Sometimes people will call me and they say, I got this error code. What the unit is doing? Oh, the unit is working fine. So what happened? How did you get this? Oh, I was on a service call. I was on a maintenance call and I decided to pull this. So guys, you're pulling wrong errors. The errors that were there before that got rectified or repaired. So only do this when the timer light is flashing. And the beauty about our unit, on the right hand side of the indoor section, as well as the outdoor unit cover, we have error codes there. Okay, we have error codes that tells you everything what it is. So when you get H11 or H15 or H16, you go there and you see, just in case you don't have the app with you. And also one good thing about this unit, whether it's a single zone or a multi-zone, the error codes are the same. H11 for a multi and H11 for a single is the same as far as Panasonic is concerned. So please, that's the beauty. It makes our life super simple. How to erase error code memory. That's the beauty. You know, once you fix that, you don't want to come tomorrow and somebody else goes there tomorrow and pulls up a wrong error code for no reason. So it's always a good idea to clean up after your job, right? So how you clean up? You lift the cover, you press the push button over there. There is a push button. You press it for 5 seconds. You will hear a single beep. Then take your remote controller and press just once for 1 second and leave it. Press and leave it. You hear another beep. If you do not hear another beep, repeat this process. You must hear a beep, and if you hear the beep, that means your error code is gone, erased, and you can go back again and check if it's truly erased. So you must get one beep here and one beep over here at your remote controller. So the check button is over here, guys. So obviously you need a toothpick or a prong, a very thin prong, like a multimeter or something like that, to push and hold that check button there. That remote controller belongs to your Nano X, your new model unit. But most of the features are the same on other remote controllers, only the remote is a little bit smaller. Okay, guys? It might not have Nano X, and it might not have other models. RFP. Since I have this remote controller here, you can see the RFP. That means RFP stands for room freeze protection. What it does, it keeps the unit at 8 to 10 degrees warm in the house. So if you have a cottage country home, if you have a cottage, if you have a cabin, whatever you call it, holiday home, you can keep your unit from running like crazy, save some energy. Just leave it at room freeze protection. So the unit will run and maintain the house only at around 8 degrees Celsius, which is about, I would say, probably around 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, keep it at that temperature, and you have no issues. And then when you get to your holiday home, you can always bump it up. So that's the beauty of saving energy. I know our competitors, you can only bring down to 69, 67. But with this, you can go down to 50. These are pictures of installation, how it's carried out. And I don't have to remind you guys. It's pretty straightforward. So many things you can do, and you can avoid. Okay, these are your tools, guys. Use them all the time. I went to a job site, a place called Gander, and I met with a contractor, and he did the job without a vacuum pump, and that shocked me. That's why I brought that topic up. Don't flush the unit with refrigerant. If you don't have a vacuum pump, please go and get one. Okay? So please, vacuum pump, correct set of gauges. Don't mix gauges, guys. Don't mix R410 with other refrigerants. I know most of our guys do refrigeration and air conditioning. So refrigeration for cold rooms, mortuaries, and you name them, they use different refrigerants. So please separate them. I'm just reminding you, guys. Okay, I'm just reminding. I know you do that. Then always use your spirit level. Spirit level is so important, guys. It's a simple tool, but it does a lot of things. Keep your outdoor unit. When you're mounting your outdoor unit, make sure it's nice and level, or else the oil is not going to get back to the compressor because it's kind of trapped, you know. And then you lose a compressor less than 2 years or 3 years, when the compressor is supposed to last for over 10 years, guys. These are minor stuff reminding us how to install this unit. Again, I'm repeating. And please, always, when you're using to tighten the nut, flare nut, always use a torque wrench. Okay, guys? Always use a torque wrench. And this slide is very important again, because I've seen guys doing that. Don't join. Please avoid joining wires. I repeat, do not join wires. It causes trouble. It causes nuisance calls. I call it nuisance because one week works fine, the next week it doesn't work. That's the result. I got this picture from Montreal or Quebec. They had a problem with that. The whole indoor unit burned down. And then when I traced back, I found out the guy had joined the wires and got loose. It was in a kitchen area. Tube benders, guys, use tube benders, spring benders. You know, see what happened there? The guy used his knee. I know some guys are laughing here. People use knee, elbows, and you name it. I have 40 years experience in this trade. Why should I use benders? Please use benders. Please use the right tools. Flaring tool. I know it's so hard. Some guys, they just chop off the flare nuts and they braze.
Paolo, presentation went down.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You see that? No.
No, not yet.
Sorry about that.
Okay, we see your presentation now. Great. Thank you, Paolo.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Sorry for this interruption. Okay, not flattening the curve, guys. It's causing kinks here. Okay, please avoid these kinks. What can happen is it can cause the compressor from jerking. We went to a job site a while back. The compressor was stalling every time when the pressure went up, and we found out that there was a kink. There was a kink just when the unit, when the pipe exited the house coming down. So you can conclude that the outer unit was defective, and then take another unit, put it there. After a couple of weeks, they call you back, same noise. We found out eventually that the pipe was kinked there slightly. Now it could have been kinked by the installer or kinked from the factory. I don't know, the roll, the copper roll. So please, you see what can happen? You can go and replace things that are not the cause of that noise, and it happens most of the time. So please try and use good quality benders, good spring benders, good quality pipes. Be picky with the quality of the manufacturer that you pick, especially with the copper pipe. Okay. Flaring. I know most of our guys are not very friendly. They don't like flaring. Then they chop off the flare nuts and they braze them. And then what happens when there is a problem? You got to pump down, cut again, and all that. It's a one man's job becomes 2 to 3 men's job. Now the job becomes expensive. Then you start blaming the manufacturer. No, you play your part and we'll play our part. We have to support each other, guys. So please use flaring when flaring is needed. Practice. If you are new into this trade, every day flare 10 pipes, small pipes. Do that for 6 months, and you'll be a pro. You'll be a professional, a flaring guy. Okay. We only use brazing on mostly commercial jobs, VRF jobs, and all that kind of thing. You know, we don't use much in residential application. Once in a while, yes, we do use, but most cases we very rare use. And if you have to use, always go with nitrogen, because this is what happens. You see this picture on the right, oxidization. So always blow nitrogen through when you're brazing. Okay? I know you know, I'm just reminding you guys. I get once in a while units here that the guy is using leak lock. In my 2 sessions ago, a guy asked me that, but it was approved for refrigeration. Yes, it was approved for refrigeration because some refrigeration systems don't have screens inside our units. They are units. In our units, we have screens, very, very sensitive to attract this kind of paste that can easily slip through and go in and block. And I'm telling you, I'm not talking because I feel like talking. I'm talking because I've seen it. I've cut open units, I have cut open screens, and I found those leak locks. The paste of leak locks. So please practice the best flaring that you can do, and don't use leak locks. They are not meant for heat pumps, especially for our heat pumps. And I can tell you, even other manufacturers, they have the same mesh inside the screen. So please do not use leak locks. It will cause you grief. You will come back after a few months, the unit is choking, the unit is overheating, you name it. Again, I've seen guys using adjustable. I'm not trying to tell you not to use adjustable. You can use adjustable to some extent, and then don't over tighten, because you will get cracks. This is the best tool to invest. Don't feel shy. I know you are 40 years into this trade, 30 years into this trade, 20, 15, 5. This tool is important. You need to be at the correct torque range. Always important to use this tool. You will never have leaks. Never. And every installation manual has this section here for 1/4 inch, for 1/2 inch, for 3/4, you name it. You can use different digits, SI units, depending on where you live and how you operate. Always be well equipped. Once you know you're well equipped, you will never be disappointed, guys. 32 years I'm in this trade. And I have seen a lot, and I'm still seeing day in, day out. Always remember, the temperature difference between in and out should be around 13 degrees to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? After 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes of operation, use your running amp. The last thing you want to do is hook your gauges. Because I know when you hook up your gauges, you run away with few ounces. No matter how sharp you are, you will run away with some ounces. These are small units, critically charged, very small units. You weigh in their charge. So the moment you go away with 6-7 ounces, you're in trouble. The unit is in trouble. So the last thing you want to do is hook up your gauges. The first thing you want to do is temperatures, running amp, and take it from there. This picture is a live picture that I got 2-3 weeks ago from a customer, and he thought that this unit, the base fan heater, wasn't working. But in reality, the problem was low on refrigerant. So always remember, if your unit is equipped with base fan heaters, which most of the units are, and you have this situation, you definitely are low on gas. Why? Because your defrost cycle was not hot enough to melt everything. And if you're telling me, Paul, you told me I was low on gas, I checked my gas, and everything is okay. But why I'm still having this problem? Check your humidity. That day or that week, they might be having very high humidity. Maybe the unit is installed next to a lake, ocean, river, you name it. That area takes a lot of humidity, 90%, sometimes 100%. So that can be another problem. So always remember, not only refrigerant, but humidity, and also check base fan heaters. Check everything. Make sure you cover all the areas. That picture I took depending based on our last session. A guy was asking, I wanted some more pictures to see what is inside the unit. So that section there, guys, if you can see my cursor, from here all the way here is one piece outdoor unit PCB, okay? Control, inverter, everything is built in one piece. You have a problem with the board, change the entire board, get a new board, fix it, replace it, up and running. Over here, down here, this is a 24,000 unit, a 24,000 BTU unit. But with the smaller unit, this section here is somewhere here. There is a transformer, which we call it a reactor. So 115 goes in, 115 goes out. Kind like a smoothing reactor, okay? So if that transformer or reactor goes bad, there will be no power to the board, and chances are you will get an H11 code. Outdoor not talking to the indoor, or indoor not talking to the outdoor. Communication error. So communication error could mean many things, okay? You need to drill down, check your wires first, especially on a brand new install. It's definitely your wires. 110% of my calls on a brand new install, H11, the communication wire was crossed or joined or some kind of a problem. They use a small size wire or you name it. 14 gauge is the best to use. 14.3 and ground. So that section there is our entire board. Okay, that's your 4-way valves there. Down over here is your reactor. On a 12,000 BTU, 9,000, 15, and 18, it's over here, the reactor. You will see it open. Over here, it's covered because of frost, ice, and you name it. That's your condenser fan motor. Then, at the top of this board here, there is a plastic cover. When you open up the cover, you will see the board is coated with this kind of waterproof material. Okay, I don't tell you to pour water on it, please. Do not do that for testing. It is protecting against snow, rain, and you name it. And it is protecting all year round, no problem. And in one section over here is this section here. That's your 1 and 2. If you short those 2 pins, you put the unit into test run. Actually, it's not a test run. Actually, it's pumped down. But you can use it as a technician. You can use to see if the if the outer unit is running and it's running fine. So if you short the unit, after less than 3 minutes, the unit will start to run, and it will run for a maximum of 10 minutes, and it's going to shut down. So that's a good way to start if you have a problem and you're not sure if the problem is indoor or outdoor. Okay, so those pins are there available for you. If you want to do it, use it, and that's about it. Again, I don't expect you to absorb everything. If you have further questions, you can always come back for my next training, or if you have any further questions, you can ask me today after our next session, which is the multi-zone. So that brings us to our first segment of single zone, guys. All I spoke about was single zone. In the next few minutes, I'm going to start talking about multi-zone. And
Paolo, we have a couple questions.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Does nano prevent the buildup on the blower wheel in high humidity environments such as Florida, Georgia, Texas?
No, I say no because this unit has been tested in all conditions. So NanoX can work in all areas. High humidity, 100%, 90%, no problem. We have units all around the world, and no complaints have come back to us. And if there was a complaint about this NanoX technology, we would be the first people to tell you right away.
One more question. We always hear this from every manufacturer. When will transducers be installed to minimize the time gauzes will need to be connected?
I'm sorry, I didn't get your question well.
We always hear gauges. Installed to minimize gauges will need to be connected. When will transducers be installed to minimize the time gauges?
Okay. So transducers are available as we speak, but not on small units. Transducers are on our VRF systems. So basically what you do, you hook up your laptop and, you can see everything there, no problem. You can see your running amps, you can see your pressures, you can see your the compressor frequency and all that kind of thing. If we start putting transducers, bells and whistles on this small unit, it's going to cost so much. So it's not about they cannot do that. They can do that. The problem is cost effective. It's going to be very costly, And when you bring that cost to the homeowner, that's going to be a challenging part, to tell the customer, oh, there are transducers there are this there. I mean, it's a good point what you brought up. I like that question. I really like it. It's a very good question. But on a lower scale, it might be challenging, I think, to sell that product at a costly, a little bit higher cost as compared to other manufacturers. But yes, it is available on our light commercial system, and you can always retrieve that using a laptop. Any questions?
Hold on. No, that's all the questions thus far.
Yeah, that question about the transducers, I loved it. It was a good question, a very good question. The only problem is pricing. You know, I always challenge even the bracket, the mounting bracket that was made 5-10 years ago. I loved it. Why? Because it had multiple spots to lock it, and as time progressed, they kind of reduced a few things to save money here and there, to cut costs here and there. Because at the end of the day, it's the homeowner that suffers, and the homeowner starts comparing, and then they keep buying a cheaper product, and that's where the problem starts. So yeah, it was a good question, and I do really appreciate it. But again, transducers are available on our bigger unit. Okay, can I move to multi-zone?
Yes, there's no more questions.
Okay, if you have questions that you can think of our single zones that we spoke about, you can always bring it back again at the end of this session. Okay, guys? Okay, now we will talk about our multi-zone. And our multi-zone, you have to pay attention a little bit on one section, maybe a couple of slides. Okay, guys? And the reason why I'm saying that, it's because we are different from other manufacturers. And when I'm saying we are different from our manufacturers, because I know that I work for other top manufacturers, and we are as top as them. We are competing with all the big guys, and we are quite competitive. And I will note the difference between us and our manufacturers, so that way you're not confused as far as pricing is concerned. Okay? Okay, so we'll talk about the features, service mode, servicing information, and obviously troubleshooting. Now, if you notice, I did not speak about error codes when we spoke about the single zone. I kept it for this segment because the error codes, as I mentioned, for the multi and the singles are the same. So I don't want to keep repeating same things again and again and taking much of your time, valuable time. So I will speak about the error codes, and they will be related to both. It will be focused on both models, both segments, multis and singles. Okay. This is a heavy over 200 slides, so it takes a bit slow to load. But bottom line is, I'm going to start showing you our 5-zone. Our 5-zone outdoor unit is the same. It's the same like a 2-zone, a 3-zone, a 4-zone, and obviously this is a 5-zone. So everything applies the same. Only this is a 5-zone. And when you're talking about 2-zone, it's 2 indoor units. When we're talking about 3-zone, it's 3 indoor units. But all in all, okay, guys, all in all, when you buy a multi-zone, a minimum of 2 indoor units have to be installed. Okay, guys? So 2 indoor units doesn't mean any 2 indoor units, guys. For example, for a 36,000 BTU, you need to have a minimum of 4.5 kilowatts to a maximum of 17.5. Anywhere below 4.5 or anywhere above 17.5, you will have an error code saying capacity error, under or over capacity error. And in the next few seconds, you will see how much is a kilowatt. Okay, when we do conversion, 1 kilowatt is 3,412 BTUs. All you do is you multiply by this number here to get it to convert it into BTUs. Okay, guys. So our lowest capacity, as far as our multi-zone is concerned, whether it's a wall mounted or a cassette or a ducted, 5,000 BTUs is our lowest. Then comes the 7, then comes the 9, 12, 18, and 24. Okay, guys? So when we say a minimum of 2 indoor heads, keep in mind, you have to obey, you have to respect minimum and maximum capacity.
Paolo,
If you have a problem, if you have a job,
Paolo, presentation went down, and it wasn't even in presentation mode. Okay, get in presentation mode. You weren't in presentation mode before.
now
No, I just still see the presentation.
you don't see the presentation.
I see the presentation. It's not in presentation mode. So if you were on any slides, we didn't see them.
Oh, I am actually in presentation mode here.
Not on our end.
Really?
Oh, okay. I see the slide 6, but I don't see it in presentation mode.
How about now? I put it in presentation.
No, still don't see it.
What do you see?
I just see the presentation. I mean, I do see the slide.
Ah, okay. Let me start again, okay?
Okay.
Let me start again. Sorry.
Thank you everyone for standing
Sorry,
by.
guys.
I'm sorry about the technical difficulties.
Any luck?
No, it's not going to presentation mode. Can you try the top bar?
Top bar.
To the left where it says like auto save. Try hitting the play button to put in presentation mode.
Auto save.
No. Over to the right. You can put in presentation. Oh, to the right. Nope, to the left.
This one here is our slideshow.
Yeah, it's not going into slideshow. What about your display settings? Display settings are.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Optimize for best appeal.
No, don't do that.
I don't. How about now? No.
No, it's not in present. We see the slides. It's just not in presentation mode. If you want to continue, I don't know if it's going to go in presentation mode.
How about this?
Still not.
Any luck?
No. Do you want to just continue with the presentation?
Okay. You can see now anything?
No, we don't see we see the presentation, not in presentation mode. I can see the rest of the slides.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on. But if I explain, will it be possible to see it?
We could see
No?
we could still see the slides. Yes.
Okay. So guys, I hope everything is okay on your end. I'm going to explain to you. I am in presentation mode, but for some reason it's not getting converted on your end. I don't know why. But anyway, as I mentioned to you, our multi-zone minimum indoor unit 2. 2 indoor units. However, you must obey and respect the minimum and maximum capacity. Now, in this case, the guy picked up 2 7,000. 2 7,000 brings only to 4 kilowatts, which is not enough. So when they turn it on, you will have a problem. Says capacity error, which is error code H12. We'll talk about it later. So please keep in mind the two indoor units that you pick, you will always have to pick based on minimum and maximum capacity. However, if you call me and tell me, Paul, I have these two indoor units that I'm installing now, but later on I plan to install another 2 indoor units or another 3 indoor units depending on the outdoor unit model, you can do that. And there is a trick to do that. And I can explain to you the day you have this issue. I don't want to explain it to you today because you might get confused and it can be a problem. So if you have a job site and you want to use 2 indoor units for now, and it's the 2 indoor units that you plan to use are below capacity, give us a call. We will explain to you how to do it. So basically, I was explaining to you about the difference between our multi-zone and our competitors. I know most of our guys install other manufacturers, and with other manufacturers, they only use the adapter at the outdoor section. Okay, guys? In our case, it's not the case. It's different. You have to use 3/8 and quarter at the outdoor unit. All the ports, all the service ports, the suction, and the liquid line are 3/8 and quarter. 3/8 suction, 1/4 inch liquid. You run those size pipes all the way to the indoor unit. And if the indoor unit is, let's say, for example, in this case, is a 12,000, then you use an adapter to upgrade or upsize it to 1/2 inch. Fallon, I think there is some kind of back
Everyone,
feedback.
please stay muted. Do not unmute yourself and keep your cameras off. Pally, can you get into presentation
Sorry, guys.
mode?
I'm trying. I go off. Now I'm not in presentation mode, and then I press. I'm in presentation mode. So something is not right on the other end. Okay, let me try this. How about now? Do you see anything? Hello?
Sorry, Pally, I was muted. No, we don't see. We see slide 7.
Now?
Still just
What do you
seeing.
see?
It's not in presentation mode. I just see the presentation in PowerPoint. Just continue. Just make sure we're on the correct slide every time.
So are we on the slide which shows the model number
Model
and the
yeah,
planar?
pipe size.
Do you pipe size? Yeah, pipe size is here, right?
Yes.
And do you see must use together with CZ
Yes.
MA1P? Okay.
All right. Just make sure we stay on the correct slide as you go along.
Okay. Okay, guys. We definitely have some minor issues, but as long as you can see what I'm explaining to you, that's the main thing, guys. So like I said, with other manufacturers, you will run the pipe of the indoor unit all the way to the outdoor unit and then rectify at the outdoor section. In our case, it's the opposite. You run 3/8 and quarter all the way to the indoor unit. And when you get to the indoor unit, in this case, for example, if we use a 12,000 BTU unit, you will upsize it to 1/2 inch. The quarter remains the same, the liquid line. But the 1/2 inch, you will use an adapter and you do your connections and you're good to go. For the 24,000, okay? For the 24,000 is a little bit different. You will run 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch from the outdoor all the way to the indoor. When you get to the indoor, you will use an adapter that has the 5/8. So you will do the connection to you will use one adapter at the indoor section for the 5/8 and another adapter for the 3/8 and 1/2 inch at the outdoor section. So unlike other models where you will run 3/8 and 1/4 inch for the 24,000 BTU indoor head only, for the 24,000, you will run 1/2 inch all the way and upsize it to 5/8 at the indoor section and downsize it to 3/8 at the outdoor section. Okay, guys, if it's not clear, please note it down and you can ask me again later, no problem. So you see, it says expand at the outdoor unit and reduce it at expand at the indoor section and reduce it at the outdoor unit with the 3/8 half-inch. Now we come about pipe length. Pipe length is also crucial and very, very crucial, because just in case you cross the limit, charge-less limit, if you cross this, then you need to add refrigerant. People forget sometimes. So remember, total pipe length for our multi-zone, in this case 5-zone, is 262. For 4-zone is also 262. For 3-zone and 2-zone, it might be slightly less. So always remember to check the current installation manual you are working on. These slides are just for you to get an explanation, the hang of it, of how to go about things, how to do things in the right way. Okay? So always remember to obey the height difference, the length. Okay? And eventually, when you cross the length you are given, for not adding refrigerant, you need to add 0.2 ounces every feet. Okay? Make sure you note it down. If you're not doing the job, if another guy is doing the job, make sure he writes it down. And if you have a job that has 263 feet.
Kyle, a quick question. Are you on a
Let's
new
say
slide? What slide are you
Yes.
on? Okay, we're still on slide 7, the piping specification.
1BL033, right? I don't have it in stock right now. It's
This one?
485.63.
I see multi-split. No, now we're on it. You have to move our slides too.
Okay.
Oh, really? There's only.
We usually have these in stock. What's the?
I would just stay
Are you okay?
I would just stay out of presentation mode so we could see the slides with you.
Yeah, no, we have to order these. We don't usually stock.
Okay, so
About 2 to 3 weeks.
so I am not on presentation mode. Is that okay?
Yes, stay out of presentation mode.
Okay, so I'm on slide 8 right now.
All right, thank you. If you could restart so everyone could see again.
Okay, guys. Slide 9. I was talking to you about height limitations. Okay, make sure you have the correct height difference between outdoor and indoor, between indoor and outdoor, between the first indoor to the last indoor unit. All height difference you have to pay attention to. Why? Because of oil return, guys. We need oil return freely and smoothly to save that compressor from burning out prematurely. Okay, guys? So our compressors can last for more than 10 years, no problem. Okay? So make sure you take care of it. Make sure you respect all this length, these pipe length differences and all that stuff. Once you cross 147 feet, you need to add refrigerant, guys. Here you go. Height difference between the bottom of the outdoor unit to the bottom of the lowest indoor unit. You have to maintain 49 feet. Okay? Indoor to indoor, 24 feet. Same applies to when the outdoor unit is at the bottom. So the early slide, the outdoor unit was on top. This slide, the outdoor unit is at the bottom, and this slide, the outdoor unit is in the middle. If I were you, I would really like you to look for this location. I have been very, very successful when the outdoor unit is in the middle. Now remember, I'm not talking because I'm a teacher. No, I'm talking based on my field experience. I have seen units perform extremely well when they are in the middle, because all indoor units are almost equal to the outdoor unit when it comes to piping. I know I don't have problems with outdoor units staying on top or indoor units staying down, but I've noticed that when they are placed in the middle, I don't get much calls for saying that the indoor unit delays in starting producing good amount of heat Okay. That slide there shows, I know it's small on your side, but these are your indoor units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we're talking about a 5-zone, guys. So that's your indoor unit. Each and every indoor unit has its own electronic expansion valve. Okay? The electronic expansion valve will stay open, slightly open, even when the indoor unit is not calling. That is designed for oil return, smooth oil return. Okay, so if your indoor unit starts to crack, like popping and expansion and contraction, that is normal. And please explain that to your homeowner that even if the indoor unit is not running, but at some point when the unit goes into defrost, that indoor unit that is not running will cause expansion and contraction sound. And that is very normal because the expansion valve is open, and it's open because for oil return. And if you don't tell them that, they will come back to you and ask, how come this unit is making some kind of noise of expansion and contraction when it's off? So this is your explanation, guys. So what's highlighted over there is the sensor, and on the top here is your electronic expansion valve. Every sensor will tell the electronic expansion valve if I need more juice or I need less juice, more refrigerant or less refrigerant. Over there, that's your compressor. On top of the compressor is your discharge, high pressure discharge temperature sensor. Okay. Obviously, you won't be able to see much over here, but that's the wiring. And that same wiring, you will see it on the top cover. You will, when you open up the top cover, on each and every unit, you will see this wiring diagram there, whether it's a 2-zone, 3-zone, 4 or 5-zone. In our service manual, you will see a page that shows you the value of each and every thermistor. Okay, I will tell you, based on my field practical experience, I have yet to see a defective sensor. Like defective meaning it got weak and it died off. Not that there is no. At some point, it will get defective, maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago to come. Okay? But at the moment, in my 6 years with Panasonic, I have yet to see a defective sensor. The only defective sensor that I've seen was cut. How it got cut, I really don't know. But if it cuts, obviously you will get a shot. And when you get a shot, you get an error code, H15, H16, whatever. Okay? So if you have a sensor that you are thinking is defective in our service manual or on our app that I mentioned earlier, Panasonic Air Conditioner Quick Service Guide app, you will see how to get the values. Okay? All our sensors are in kilo ohms, 5 kilo ohms, 10 kilo ohms, 200, you name it, depending on what sensor you're looking at. Some guy will tell me, Paul, why you say the compressor is defective when I'm reading the correct value of resistance between UV, VW, WU, WV? Well, the answer is the coil is good, but the compressor is seized, mechanically damaged. And why? I have noticed, whichever units that came back mechanically damaged, I removed the compressor and there was no oil in it. So some way oil was getting trapped and not coming back to the unit. So remember, guys, please do not put traps. U-traps, P-traps, no traps allowed in our system. In our single zone, in our multi-zone, no intentional traps, guys. There is no intentional traps. That will just cause the compressor to die less than 9 months, maybe even less than 6 months. So don't worry. The unit does its own oil return. Every 8 hours, once every 8 hours, once every 16 hours, depending on the temperature of the compressor. Okay? and that is done by the software, built-in software in that PCB. Okay. All right. Over there, you can see a live picture of the outdoor terminal block. Okay. That's your service PCB. I will explain to you in the next few slides what that PCB does. That's your incoming power, line 1, line 2. And those are your zones, 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, this picture represents 4 zones. So if there were 5 zones, you would have 1 additional here. And many times, people are confusing. They are putting the pipe on A and the wire on B, the pipe on B and the wire on C. Now what you have cross wiring. And when you're running it in heat mode, you will never have issues. Why you will not have issues? Because there is no error code for indoor units in standby in heat mode, but there is error code in cool mode. Okay. So please remember, indoor unit piping, zone A goes to terminal A, zone B to B. So that little board over there is what I'm going to explain in the next few slides. Okay, guys? There is this button here that is called the pump down button, switch 1, SW1. So you can pump down the system. You can pump down the system with no issues. If you have a problem, maybe you want to add an indoor unit, pump down from the outdoor unit, close the liquid line, press that switch for 5 seconds, your pump down will start. Depending on the pipe length, the longer the pipe length, the longer the pump down will take. And as we go, you can see the unit, the unit will run, all the expansion valves will open, all the units will be forced in cooling, and eventually the unit will shut down. So before it shuts down, the lights will explain to you how many minutes are left. 3 minutes, 1 minute, it starts blinking the lights and eventually shut down. Before it shuts down, look at your gauge. If your gauges are hooked up, look at your gauge before it gets to 0. Make sure you are ready to close the suction valve. Okay, the suction service valve. Then we have the test run. Test run button is to run the unit at maximum frequency, and when you press and hold for 5 seconds, the first 2 lights will come on. When the first 2 lights comes on, that means the unit is in test run, cooling. And if you keep pressing for another 5 to 10 seconds, the second light will go off, the third light will come on, and you are now in test run heating. So guys, once you do your job, you finish your install, this is not the button to press. This is not my suggestion to you. Because if you cross those wires, test run is not going to pick up that fault. Because all units are running, no problem. It's going to cool well, it's going to heat well, no problem. But and you will find no issues. But the moment you test run the system by turning on 1 indoor unit at a time for at least 5 minutes, you will find out if you cross your pipe or you cross your wires. In most cases, we say you cross your wires, not the pipe, because you don't want to start pumping down and then relocating the pipes and all that. But it's easy to do that by just shutting the power off and rectifying the wire. So when you cross the wires, you will turn on the first unit and you will find it's blowing hot air. It's blowing air, but heat is going to another unit. That's when you will find the actual problem. So in my case, I would strongly advise you, when you are doing a multi-zone, 1 unit at a time, and you will catch your problems with no issues whatsoever. Wiring check. There is another button here about how to check if your wiring is crossed. I don't like to use this button personally, because it rectifies a minor issue, a minor cross wiring of, let's say, 2 indoor units. More than 2 indoor units, it may not rectify. And that problem can only stay as long as you have good power. If you have a power outage, that memory can be easily cancelled if you have a power outage of about 48 to 76 hours. So I would not advise you to use that wiring check. The best way to do is turn on 1 unit at a time, as I mentioned to you a few seconds ago. So please, if you can, avoid using wiring check option. Okay, then we have the power save. Power save is when you don't have a lot of indoor units that can match the outdoor unit capacity. So you don't want this outdoor unit to run to its maximum. So what you will do, you will flip that power save button, and the compressor will not run that much, probably at 75% capacity. Okay. Now, if you bought a 36,000 BTU and you want to use all the 36,000 BTU, excuse me, there is no reason to flip that power save button. But again, if you want to, there is an option. That is the option. Flip that power save button, and the unit will run at around 70% capacity. Then we have another flip switch for priority mode. Priority mode is the priority given to the indoor unit with highest capacity. What does that mean? That means that highest capacity unit, 18,000 BTU, you can change from cooling to heating, heating to cooling, while other units are in a different mode. And then what happens with those other units? Let's say those units were in cooling, and you in your office, you want heating. Those units will be on standby, and your unit will get the priority mode that it needs. Very rare, but it's there. Very rare option, but it's there. Then if you buy this heat pump for whatever reason, and then now you say, Paul, I don't want to use it in heating because I have a furnace or I have a boiler or something like that. I want to use it only in cooling. And the people who are there, let's say it's a bed and breakfast place, I don't want them to flip thermostats and remote controllers and off and on and confuse. You can always cut a jumper, and the homeowner or the tenants will never see the heat option. All they can do is fan and cool. Fan and cool. That's it. So if you have a bed and breakfast place, again, and you want to use this heat pump as cooling only, you can do that. Now, we are coming to the section of error codes. Okay, guys? We are coming to the section where we are talking about troubleshooting. And guys, just remember, I'm reminding you once again that this is a multi-zone slide, but the troubleshooting error codes also apply to single zones. Okay? Same error code in multi, same error code in singles, except for 2 error codes, F17 and H39, which is standby freezing or cross wiring on a multi-zone. Okay, guys? H11 is the first error code in my slide here. It's because it's the most common error code. It is so simple to find out where the problem is, whether it's the inside or the outside. So in this slide, it tells you that the indoor PCB is defective or the outdoor PCB is defective. Now that can be a problem on a system that has been running for ages, for years. But that's not a problem. You don't have that problem, indoor-outdoor PCB defective, when it's a brand new install. I have come across this error code on brand new installs, and in most cases, it was the control wire issue. Some guys may have crossed the 1 and 2 or the 2 and 3, and this problem happened. Another time, a condensate pump was used, and they broke the number 3 wire. Please don't break number 3 wire. If you want to break any wire, break number 1. That's the line 1. Don't break number 2, because number 2 behaves as a common wire to number 3 and number 1. So if you have a condensate pump, and if you want, and if it's calling for safety, to shut down the unit in safety, break number 1 wire. Those are the step-by-step, shows you how to see where the problem is. If the problem is outside or if the problem is inside. So basically what it's telling you to do there, on the number 3 wire outside, remove the number 3 wire, turn the power on, if the power is off obviously, turn the power on, and then take your multimeter. Take your multimeter as shown on this drawing here, and put one prong on number 2 and the other one on number 3, and leave the wire hanging. Make sure it's not touching any ground or anything to cause any confusion or any short. And if you're getting fluctuating voltage, that means your outdoor PCB is in good shape. The problem is with your inside unit. And if you tell me, oh, this is a brand new install, my wires are correct, I've done this all my life, chances are, if the outdoor PCB is reading good, your indoor PCB may be. I had 2 or 3 calls so far. While pushing the wire, while pushing the power supply wire, it went and pulled a plug out of the control board. So please, open up the indoor PCB and see if there is any wire that is hanging loose or got unplugged during the process. And then that is the best way to find out if that was the problem before starting to replace units. I know in most cases you guys are in a hurry, and I cannot blame you all. You are in a hurry. You need to be in a hurry. But again, watch it, go slowly, step by step, and fix it. H12. H12 is capacity error or a wrong model. Very rare, but it can happen. Some error codes I will just swing by because they're not very important. But again, it can happen to you. H15 is the compressor. Sometimes when you're changing a compressor and you forget to put this sensor into the spot, you might get that problem. Or maybe when you're brazing the joints while replacing the compressor, some of the flame got at the back and hit the wire. And you know how the thermistor wires are very fine and thin. They could have been gone. And then you call me and you tell me, Paul, you told me to replace the compressor and I'm having this problem now. I don't think the problem was the compressor. So then I get the unit here, I inspect it, I find the wire got burnt. I take pictures and I send it to him, and he said, oh, I'm so sorry. So things happen. I'm not blaming anybody. Things happen, but it can be avoided. No rush. They say if you rush, you crush. Again, on our app or in our service manual, it tells you how to fix or how to check this sensor. Based on the temperature, you will get your reading. And in most cases, or if not in all cases, the reading is in kilo ohm. H16. I had a few H16 in the 6 years, and in most cases, the problem was the compressor here. You see this number 3? Pumping issue. The compressor was not pumping. Change the compressor and you're up and running. H27, outdoor sensor, very rare, but it can happen. Okay, guys? Very rare, but it can happen. How you check it? Service manual, use the graph, and with a multimeter. Use the correct meter. Don't use the M probe to check the sensors. Okay, use your multimeter. Then you have the H28, very rare. Honestly, it has never happened, but it's there. H32, same thing. I will scroll by. H33, I noticed H33 not only a wrong model, but low voltage. When the voltage was below 208, like 170, 180, I got an H33. So the unit, when the indoor unit or outdoor unit experience low voltage below 187, the system is going to shut down. And if the voltage is above 253, it's going to shut down. And if your area is experiencing high or low voltage, always use a surge protector, guys. Always. We have a province here called New Brunswick. Okay, New Brunswick is probably close to, I think it's close to Maine in the US, and they have a lot of surges, and because of that, they sell the unit as a package: indoor, outdoor piping, disconnect, and a surge protector. H36, outdoor gas pipe temperature, which is the suction line. Gas pipe temperature sensor are those suction line temperature sensors. Okay. Again, all sensors use a graph. Use a graph and make sure you're getting the correct reading, the correct value based on that day. And then H37 is the liquid line sensor. So each and every pipe, liquid and suction, they have got a sensor there on the multi-zone. H97, very common winter time. Winter time, H97, I already got, I can say, maybe 3 calls so far since October, November last year till today. H97. H97 snowstorm. Definitely when there is a snowstorm, the next day I get this error code. I tell them go outside and check the outdoor unit, fully covered with snow. So always remember, treat your outdoor unit. Tell the homeowner, treat this outdoor unit like your driveway. You got to shovel snow. You got to dust and remove the snow. Clean it. Be part of that unit. You know, it will give you good service. It will last forever. So H97 is the fan motor. And if you tell me, Paul, there is no snow at all, there's nothing wrong, everything is clear, then definitely the fan motor is gone. Okay. H98 is a protection error. Okay. This error code is happening. It happens when you put a 5-zone, for example, you put a 5-zone or a 3-zone or a 4-zone, and only one unit is running. So what happens? The space of the coil becomes smaller. So now the outdoor unit becomes bigger than the indoor unit, and the indoor unit in heating is the condenser. So to dissipate all that heat that is being provided by the outdoor unit, it is too much. So the unit will bring up an error of H98. So what happens? This H98 is a hidden error. Don't worry about this error. It will be there and it will go off and the unit will come back on again and the unit will just keep running well. No problem. But if it keeps coming back and again and again, then definitely you have a dirty filter or a dirty blower wheel or something like that. That's your H98. It talks about it every time. H99, You will never get it in heating. H99 is only in summertime, cooling or dry mode. Now, this is one thing you have to pay attention, guys. When you are using dry mode or when the homeowner is using dry mode, please remember that dry mode needs humidity. Okay? If the area does not have enough of humidity, that unit is going to shut down, which on H99, protecting the unit from freezing, protecting the unit from going below 34 degrees Fahrenheit coil temperature. Okay? So the unit will shut down and come back up again. And if it happens again and again, 3-4 times in less than an hour, chances are you are low on gas. So always explain to the homeowner, as a contractor, as a dealer, as a supplier, always explain to the homeowner that H99 will happen when you're using dry mode. And when you're using dry mode, you need lots of humidity, 80%, 90%, 100% humidity, relative humidity. Okay, guys? So in a humid area, dry mode performs very well, no problem. Okay? F11, four-way valve problem. So if I get a call from a customer, oh, beautiful, it ran the whole of winter. Sorry, it ran the whole of summer.
Presentation went down.
Okay.
Paolo?
Yeah,
I'm just making sure you're getting it up.
yeah, I'm getting it up. Share screen. Okay, share. You can see?
Yeah, do you want to try doing presentation mode? I'm just curious.
How about
Okay.
now?
Nope, no, take it out of presentation mode. It didn't work. Okay.
Okay, guys, we stopped at F11, okay? F11 is four-way valve problem. Now, I mentioned to you that the customer calls and says, Paul, it works throughout summer, no problem. The moment I went to heating mode, I have this problem. So chances are the four-way valve got frozen, got stuck, or I don't know. So it's better to go to the job site, run again in cooling, and then switch over to heating. And if it works, well and good. If it doesn't work, you can use the magnet to force the plunger inside to move. And it has helped with me in 1 or 2 occasions. And if it doesn't work, then replace the four-way valve. But very rare, F11, but it can happen. Okay, guys? Very rare, but it can happen. Then let's go to F17. F17, you will not see this error code in single zone. Okay? F17 is strictly for multi-zone. That's when you cross your wires. When you cross your wires, you're running, let's say you have a 3-zone. You're running only 1 unit, and the other 2 units are not running. So depending on which wire you cross, that indoor unit is freezing up. And that's where you get the F17. And you will tell me, Paul, but it ran the whole of winter. Yes, no problem. In winter, there is no error code for coil getting hot. But there is an error code for coil getting super cold, because you don't want that coil to bust. You don't want that coil to get frozen and start cracking and causing leaks. So we have an error code in cooling, but not in heating. Okay, guys? F90, any error code. So we have 2 letters only in Panasonic. H, error code, and F, as in Frank, error code. F, Frank, error codes are not that pleasant, are not that helping you or me or anybody. The moment you see an F error code, very, very rare, it can be reset. There are few F error codes that can be reset, and the rest, it's either to replace the board or the compressor. Okay, guys? So like in this case, F90. F90, this error code, in most cases, guys have reset the power for about 15 minutes, and the unit ran well, no problem. Okay. Then the F91. F91 error code. F91. This in most cases, like I think 99.9% was lack of gas shortage. There was a leak. The guy recovered everything, checked for leaks, repaired the leak, and everything was up and running. So when you have a multi-zone, these are live pictures from the job site, guys. If you see your multi-zone looks like this, I can tell you 99.9% you are low on refrigerant. All these 3 outdoor units, okay? These 3 outdoor units are from these 3 different job sites, and all these 3 outdoor units had about 1.6 to 2 pounds lack of refrigerant. So this is what happens in the long run, and especially on a colder day or on a very high humid day, you have this problem. So please, when you get to see this kind of picture at your job site, recover the refrigerant, check for leaks. If no leaks, recharge. And if you tell me, how come I got lack of refrigerant, less gas, and Paul, I can't find any leak, chances are you ran away with refrigerant with your gauges, or maybe you pressurize the system with nitrogen over 500 and cause this problem, or maybe the system came from the factory with low refrigerant. Okay, I'm not blaming you all the time. I can take that blame as well. F93 is compressor revolution. What happens is if the compressor runs at a very high frequency and at a very high pressure, and all of a sudden it shuts down, it rotates backwards. Instead of going forward, it goes backwards, and it stalls, and it makes loud noise, and it shuts down on F93. If you have that problem, it's either the PCB or the compressor. Very rare, like honestly, very rare. It has never happened, but if it happens, no problem. You know what to do. F94 is compressor discharge, pressure being overshooting. It's overshooting. So the protection is shutting it down, and maybe too much of gas. Maybe a faulty PCB. Maybe the outdoor fan is not moving the way it's supposed to. So these are the things that you can check and get away. Again, F93, very rare. Maybe I have not received a single error code on that, but you never know, it can happen. This is all available on the app. So guys, please use your app. Use your app and it will help you. F96, again, outdoor fan, outdoor PCB, or compressor. Very rare, but it can happen. F97, overheating of your compressor. Compressor is overheating. So there you know how to track it or how to troubleshoot it. F98, again, it has never happened, but it's there. Okay? So please remember, it can happen, but you never know. Next. F99, 110%. I had these few calls on F99, and it was the outdoor PCB. Something happened with the power supply.
Presentation went down.
Oh boy.
There's like 5 different ones.
Okay, it's back.
Can you see?
Yes. Don't put in
How about now?
presentation. It's not in presentation mode. Do not do that.
Okay. I got out of the presentation mode. So you can see that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, guys. F98, I was talking to you about. I was talking to you about F99. Sorry. F99, I got few calls, and definitely it was not the compressor. It was the outdoor PCB, guys. So again, if you guys are doing heat pumps on a regular basis, please, I beg you to invest in a phase checker, inverter phase checker. Okay, it really saves a lot of time. A lot of time, I mean really a lot of time, and it gives you the correct answer, whether it's the outdoor PCB or the compressor. Okay, guys? That brings us to the end of our 5 zones. Now, if there was no COVID and I was visiting you guys at a live room, live station, I would tell you, let's go for lunch. And then when we come back, we will tear down the outdoor unit, indoor unit, and we'll show you everything. It's unfortunate that we are going through this, so I'm going through only through virtual. But in real life, we would have nice hands-on training, open up the unit, see for yourself each and everything.